Hey everybody, it's important for me to shoot this video. I think there are some people who would probably advise against it, but honestly, I think it's an important piece of history to go over. Pretty much every person I ever meet, if I'm out and about sort of doing my thing, and they come and say hello, they always bring it up. So I thought, you know what, it's time to revisit and react to this video. I'm definitely guilty of rewatching my videos from time to time, but more often than not, it is purely just anything that has gone up fresh. I'll rewatch it to make sure there's no mistakes, to learn from it. You know, sometimes there'll be an editing error. Sometimes there'll be, you know, a chop in the wrong place, that kind of thing. But I actually haven't seen this video in 6 years. And I'm talking, of course, about Miku. Seconds in and I'm already absolutely loving the old school Andertons intro with Lee as the cowboy and me dressed up as some of the Halloween characters from some crazy sketch when I think Lee was Michael Jackson. It's just old school Andertons vibes, and to be honest, it's the kind of thing that makes me feel happy. So, as soon as we got the pedal out the bottom, neither of us knew what it did. We had absolutely no idea at all. And I remember, at first, Lee's reaction was like, is that what it's supposed to do? And I was like, yeah, it's a vocoder. It's this cool anime character. And she does live performances where she's not there kind of thing. And it's just different and everything. And I said, look, it has merit. It's an interesting, different product. We've got to try and serve it a vocal melody. And so anyway, the police sprung to mind, and every breath you take, it was like, it's such an isolated, sensitive vocal melody. No, I was like, this has got to be it, man. And when we first tried it, Lee just fell to pieces. And I was like, no, you've got to keep it together. You've got to keep it together. And it was like 3, 2, 1. He didn't keep it together. To be honest, the fact that Lee kept it together enough to play the chords was almost a kind of a miracle in and of itself. And I think what was really funny about it was we didn't expect it to do that. I think Lee, well, I kind of had an idea, but Lee thought it was just an effects pedal, not that it would make this kind of Japanese voice. And because we'd set it to the random setting, it was coming up with interesting phrases and words, but some of them were a little bit spicy in English. Greetings, I'm Chappers.
And I'm the captain.
And welcome to possibly the best ever first review in a weekend of reviews that we've ever done.
Because we're talking Japanese. I say we're talking Japanese.
I really think so.
I really think so.
We genuinely are, though, this time.
We genuinely are.
With the Miku.
Miku, which quite possibly is the weirdest, most pointless.
Pointless? What do you mean pointless? It's one of the best things on the entire planet. It makes sounds like a Japanese person singing. What is pointless about that, man?
Pedal ever in the history of mankind.
Pointless? Lee, I have to absolutely contest when you can make beautiful music like this. it didn't track particularly well. I had to play really slowly for it to just know the notes that it's trying to interpret through its Miku-ness. So whenever I did anything in any way faster than this, it would just kind of slur them into imaginary melody.
So this is who's this based on?
Hatsume Miku.
Kamsaki Makimakumu.
I'd love to know if any one of the creative people at Hatsune Miku have ever seen this video or in any way reacted to it. I think that would pretty much make my day, to be honest with you.
Hatsume Miku. Very famous kind of animated character, does live shows.
What, like Mickey Mouse?
Absolutely like Steamboat Willie.
I actually can't believe that I mentioned Steamboat Willie. That went under the radar.
Miku Mouse, is that who it is?
They beam her on stage and she performs as a 3D animated
Rob
character.
showed me a clip. Sorry, what's the This is huge in Japan, and I think kind of, I don't know, if you needed one sort of thing to highlight one of the huge cultural differences between sort of East and West, it's just
the
like
glow sticks.
This stuff I can't see it over here. Well,
all, hats off to the vocal talents of Saki Fujita.
When I said Saki Fujita, I could see Lee just absolutely desperately trying to hold it together because it sounds a little bit rude in English. And that was what was so funny between us. It was him desperately trying to keep it together and me having actually a respect for anime and the Japanese arts and Oriental arts in general, kind of being interested and waxing lyrical about how cool Hatsune Miku is.
Who is the real voice behind Hatsune Miku, which is a phenomenon in Japan and some areas of the rest of the world.
Yes.
And someone thought it would be a really cool idea, and it is a very interesting idea. See what I did there?
Yes, it
to
is.
make a pedal that has the voice of Saki Fujita.
This sounds like some sort of porno Mexican food, doesn't it?
Did Lee just say porno Mexican food? Man, we used to get away with so much back in the day. I think if he'd have said that now, it would have been like massive cancellation city.
So, but here's, I mean, I think this is very strange, and it has a few problems, but then it has some really interesting points too.
Yes.
Problem number one, we don't normally do that, but I'm going to do this right now. It doesn't track particularly well. So things like...
So look, it's an amazing pedal for many different reasons, but I did think it was important for me to talk about some of the genuine issues with using it as an effect or an instrument. It didn't track particularly well, it's true. And luckily, we didn't get any kind of hatred or trolling for saying that, because, I mean, it's just a fact.
That was a major scale. Let's play a chord.
It was the chord. So the chord thing, that was Lee's first exposure to the Miku. Because the first thing he does when he plugs in a pedal is just like hits an A chord, hits a D chord. That, you know, the thing we always do, all right? So he plugs into the Miku, whacks it into a Fender, hits a chord and it goes, meh, and he goes, is it broken? And I'm like, no, mate, it's not broken.
As a chord. So it doesn't do that very well.
Lee has basically given up at this point. He's beyond repair, especially with the yaw chord.
But what it does do very well is the... Hold it together, bro. You can do this. Here's another chord. Is the singing melodies thing. And actually, for some reason, although it doesn't track individual notes particularly well, it does track bending very well. So if Lee was to play a simple chord like maybe an A,
I can do that.
play an A power chord.
That was the inherent problem with the Miku pedal. If you're really subtle, doing those kind of beautiful, slow, mellifluous, I've used that word recently a lot, honey-like bending, you know, it can sound really cool, really melodic and exotic, you know, if you're from the West. But then as soon as you do anything else, kind of even a little bit fast, it doesn't have your back at all. It all falls apart.
Oh, it's love the way that it's not literally that went there. Pata uta.
Which is what I ate for dinner last night. It does do the vocal thing very well. It speaks Japanese. Each note, basically, there are lots of... I'm going to try and bring this back to a real review.
At this point, I start to feel a little bit like, come on, man, we've got to do this justice. What they've done is actually really clever and interesting. You know, each individual note that it senses becomes a syllable sound from the Japanese language. That's really incredible, you know. I mean, that's a feat of incredible engineering. And for fans of Hatsune Miku, it's a really cool thing. So I was like, rein it back in, bro. We can do this. We can make it a serious review from here on. Nah.
Do a real review.
Real review.
For really sensible people.
I'm using phrases one. There are 3 phrases selections. So if I play one note, you get a word.
Yep.
Play it again, you get a second word. She's saying a phrase in order.
But is it dynamic sensitive? So if you pick soft, are you getting the same? And then the harder you pick, it changes the
But what it
vowel.
means is that you get her to actually sing a phrase. Now, this is a really interesting thing no one's done before. It is funny, but it's clever. And it's the kind of thing that I know some band like Area 11 or someone will take and just make a huge deal. And, I mean, you can sing phrases if you're good at playing pentatonics.
Eat up your... I don't know what he said there. That's like a phrase for children, isn't it?
Eat up your dinner.
I feel like I want to say thank you so much to Korg for producing this incredible product and bringing mirth and merriment to the masses.
Hey, what's she saying now?
Let me
you.
I said follow, but who knows?
Yeah.
As soon as it went let me, I was thinking, oh no, where's this going?
So here's another phrase.
Me sideways now, sir.
Now, it is... The reason Lee is cracking up and you're hearing animal noises is because in Japanese, some of the individual syllables make, in English, words that sound like they could be rude words.
It's just mad, isn't it? Korg released this trailer video of this pedal in November, I think, of 2014. And I kid you not, it went round the industry virally as almost, is this April the 1st, but not in April the 1st. And then Korg UK phoned and said, no, this isn't wine, this is a real pedal. And it's like, what? Who's going to buy that? And they're like, well, originally it was just launched for Japan, and they've sold something crazy.
Oh,
like
they'll sell billions of them.
10,000 in Japan.
Yeah.
Already, so I said, well, I don't know, what shall I do? And the guy from Korg said, look, just take 20.
Just take 20. I reckon those 20 flew out the shelves in about 20 seconds.
You know, they're not expensive pedals. Take 20. I'm like, 20? Who's going to buy that? Anyway, we had pre-orders for all that 20 on the first day that we put the pedal live.
When you do that.
So it's actually, I'm guessing there's either a huge kind of Pokemon type following.
Pokemon?
You know, that really famous anime, Pokemon.
This again?
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Pokemon.
There's either some huge fan following of this sort of Japanese thing going on over here, or people are just buying it because they think it's kind of
Well, I
funny.
have to say,
and cool.
she's a legitimate artist with millions and millions of fans globally, and hats off and all respect due to Hatsune Miku.
So is Miley Cyrus.
And Saki Fujita. So does Miley Cyrus.
What does that
That's
mean?
true. This is your trick pedal. This is the thing that no one else really has.
Okay,
Although in Japan.
let's do another
so,
phrase.
Hold on. So you have like your Stax Master, your Stereo Chorus. You got your regulars,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you pull out the bag.
Yeah, you pull it out of the bag and everyone goes,
everyone's like,
bye, I'm leaving now.
But you could. What you really want to
It's
do?
useless.
What you really want though?
Pointless.
It's useless, it's pointless, and it has no value, like our reviews, Lee.
This has no
When
value.
you're selling this, how can you say it's pointless?
It's pointless because I know people will just go, it's not pointless, Captain. I'm going to write a whole,
Look,
some
it
of the
might not
songs,
be.
in fairness,
It
that
might
I
not
hear
be.
on Facebook. I get you. Well, no, you're actually not too bad. But Matt Hornby and Rabir, and I get this stuff. Matt Hornby has been listening to, and it'll come up with some band I've never heard of, and I'll play it because he'll say it's awesome, and it'll just sound like that played really fast. So obviously there are people.
It might not be like Jimmy Page.
Man, I'd completely forgotten that we'd done the Stairway to Heaven cover. And actually, the first 5 seconds, they're kind of quite nice. Somebody, if anybody here knows Jimmy Page, please link him to that section of the music. It would be an honour of mine to hear Father Jimmy listen to one of his most prized compositions on a Miku. Okay, one serious note, and this is kind of cool actually. Something this taught me that I now teach in clinics is that learning and playing vocal melodies on a guitar is an incredibly valuable lesson. Vocalists, singers, make note choices that guitar players do not make. Guitar players tend to be contemplating the next note choice based upon a grid or a shape or a scale or an arpeggio or something, whereas singers, who can't see anything like that in here, they're making note choices based upon what will just sound great. And so, although this is a really, really funny, silly review, the exercise in playing vocal melodies was incredibly beneficial.
Let's try it with a Les Paul, see if it sounds better, different with a Les Paul. You do need to pick a note, let it track, and let it do its thing.
There's a good half second to a full second of tracking.
It does vibrato nicely.
It does.
You see, there you go. As soon as Lee starts playing through it, doing, melodies and things that sound human, of course, he's got that wicked, beautiful, kind of charismatic vibrato that we all know and love about Lee. And it actually comes through the Miku sounding human. And I think that's the value in a product like the Miku, is it sort of slightly humanizes what you do in a comic way. But there might be a market, I'm just putting this out there for anybody that makes products like this, there might be a market for kind of a human voice type pedal that is Western.
What else have we got? Oh, that was nice.
So, hold on.
Oh, I like this sound. What
Yeah,
have you done?
I've turned it off. Yeah, anything to do with rhythm, it doesn't work.
No.
But with melodies, it does do the vibrato thing, and it's
it doesn't
interesting.
do chords, you say?
No. Just strum a chord. Right, the last one is it does Nyan or Nyan. So here's Nyan.
We needed like a Japanese kind of, or like a scale, don't we?
I still can't get over it. I love that Lee was like, oh yeah, we still need like we need like an Asian sounding scale, you know, like the one I only ever play.
Well, what about pentatonic scale? I got one for you.
Okay.
I got just to make it interesting. Here's a Japanese scale that you can use at home. That wait, what did I just do?
Well,
oh, I'm plugged into your amp.
Yeah, I'll have my amp.
Yeah, I know you will.
Yeah.
Here is my favourite Japanese scale for anyone interested in Japanese scales, and it goes like this.
Wow.
It's actually a very nice scale.
What can I say?
Well,
What can I say?
I think, without absolute any doubt, complete certainty, this pedal is unique in its field.
Yes.
It's been one of the funnest reviews we've done in ages.
It's our first review, although that won't be the first review that you've seen in 2015.
We should use this every review.
Yes, I think this. I'm putting this on. Yeah, it's and we'll show you some close-ups of it throughout the videos where it's got a pretty picture of a sort of a cartoon.
16-year-old
with
Hatsune
blue
Miku.
hair. Who?
Hatsune Miku.
I thought so.
I've been Rob Chapman.
And I've been Makamahuhu.
Listen, this was absolutely tons of fun, and I'm sorry I kind of pulled you in, but I guarantee you had a great time and a good laugh, and that's what YouTube's all about. If there is another video that you would like me to react to from my 15 years of ridiculous YouTube history, just let me know in the comment section below. I'm always here hanging out, chilling. Have a great day. Take it easy. Chappers out.